Speaker.
Jackie Dean.
Thank you. There is a general agreement across the House, I believe, that the current regime for allocating time for opening and closing election broadcasts for registered political parties is out of date, antiquated, not necessarily riveting TV, depending on who you're supporting, and in need certainly of reform. So what this Broadcasting Election Program and Election Advertising Amendment Bill intends to do, and I do note the comments of the previous speaker who's just resumed, who said, yes, we will test that the effect of this bill merely is to remove the requirement under Part 6 of the Broadcasting Act for opening and closing addresses for parties during the election period, and only does that with no other unintended consequences or provisions. We certainly will do that in the Select Committee. And also the requirement for Television New Zealand, willingly or not, and Radio New Zealand to provide time for them. And so instead of that regime, the provisions of this bill provide that the allocation time is monetised with a corresponding increase in the appropriation of funds to be allocated to political parties for advertising. And what this gives effect to is allows political parties more flexibility and the ability to spend their allocation on advertisements that are of value to them in reaching out to the general public. Across the House and the wider community, there is concern with declining voter participation, and so it's therefore important that resources and funding and the legislation allows for effective and efficient and more timely communication with voters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.